What was President Trump's reaction?
I haven't spoken to the president.
What does that say about your relationship?
Carney finally speaks. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, Mark Carney finally doing his press conference in Australia. And, well, it's about as we would expect. He belittles the reporters, dodges questions, gets absolutely grilled. We're also finding out his deals in India will be providing $100 million of taxpayer money to Indian students. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, David Coletto posting some data here. Free trade and Carney's relationship with Trump. 42% of Canadians say Carney is doing a good job with Trump. 28% see him building alliances. 37% worry he'll be too soft. 45% say ending Kuzma bad for Canada. This is ridiculous. It should be 100% think ending Kuzma is bad for Canada. And 58% would blame Trump if talks fail. Moving down to handling of Trump overall rating, of course it's Atlantic Canada that gives the highest rating of 50%. Then Ontario, British Columbia, Quebec, and obviously Alberta and Saskatchewan are last. Here's that breakdown. Very good job, and okay job. And 42% supporting what Carney's doing with his relationship with Trump, which is ridiculous because he's not doing anything. He's not even trying to talk to him. And only 30% say poor. Come on, people. Canadians have to wake up, and they will wake up. I've just completed my taxes, so now I have some more time, so I will be filling this out. I've got placeholders in here. We've got more conflicts of interest that I've put out in the last couple of videos. There's also another one to add to the indirect conflicts of interest. I have to reformat all this to make them fit on an 8.5 by 11 page, so making them wider, and then we'll start putting these out around Canada and see if we can't move the needle. We've got this from Table Salts is breaking. Canada to provide educational funding for Indian nationals, including 100 million University of Toronto scholarship Indian students, 200 fully funded scholarships for top-tier Indian students, and 300 plus funded research positions for Indian researchers. This is insulting to Canadians. This is beyond insulting. Why would we spend a dime on another nation's citizen? I'm sorry, no offense to anyone who's from India, but our money should be spent on our people. Canada-India Talent and Innovation Strategy 2026 scholarships. This is what Carney's doing with our money. He's giving us the big middle finger and funding anyone and everyone around the world. I mean, Justin Trudeau's been doing this with the far-off rip-off segment I've been putting up for the past year and a half. Here we have him just sticking it right in our face. Canadians want a big deal for Canada, and what happens? Camco with a $2.6 billion deal that directly benefits Mark Carney. We've got $100 million going to Indian students. It says here 13 partnerships between India and Canadian universities to facilitate greater study and exchange opportunities. This is insulting. Canadians are sleeping in streets, record food bank usage, and we have money going to UBC, Simon Fraser University, Algoma, Dalhousie, Guelph, Brock, Royal Roads University, University of Toronto, collaborate in AI programs. Why wouldn't we invest in Canadians? Or do Canadians' lives do not matter in Canada anymore? Sure seems like it. Jumping over to Mark Carney's press conference. First off, he's trying to retract his position supporting Donald Trump in Iran. This guy is such a coward.
Which is why we support efforts to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon and to prevent its regime from further threatening international peace and security. Because Canada is taking the world as it is, not passively waiting for a world we wish to be. We do, however, take this position with regret because the current conflict is another example of the failure of the international order.
There it is. He's taking this position with regret. Couldn't we have just gone over to Iran, the Ayatollah, and just given him a nice big warm hug and worked things out while they build their army of explosives and drones in their warehouses and caves?
Despite decades of UN Security Council resolutions, the tireless work of the International Atomic Energy Agency, and the succession of sanctions and diplomatic frameworks, Iran's nuclear threat remains. And now, the United States and Israel have acted without engaging the United Nations or consulting allies, including Canada. So where to from here? With a rapidly spreading conflict and growing threats to civilian life, Canada reaffirms that international law binds all belligerents. We condemn the strikes carried out by Iran on civilians and civilian infrastructure across the Middle East.
Yeah, Trump and all the other countries involved here are not going after civilians. This is obvious. International law isn't a real thing. It's just a thing that the UN likes to say. There's no enforcer of international law, thus it doesn't really exist. It can exist in Mark Carney's mind, but really all he's doing here is pandering to his base because he supported Trump. They didn't like that. Now he's pulling it back.
And we implore all parties, including the United States and Israel, to respect the rules of international engagement.
There's no international law, Carney. If you want to respect the law, maybe you should start doing it yourself. This guy goes over to India, meets with multiple multimillionaires or billionaires. These are guys are doing big business with Brookfield, guys that he did the deals with while he was at Brookfield, which is against the law. Sections 4, 6, and 7 of the Conflict of Interest Act. Mark Carney breaks these laws and has the audacity to call out the Americans and all the other countries fighting Iran for breaking international law. Hypocrisy is off the charts with this guy. Now, the reason for Carney flip-flopping on supporting Trump going into Iran as well, the polling data, we can see this here. So this is coming from Angus Reid. The numbers do not lie. As many have seen and heard, the United States and Israel have been carrying out strikes against Iran. Do you support these airstrikes? For conservatives, 64% saying yes, 24% saying no, 11% neutral. But for liberals, 69% saying no, only 17% saying yes. So that's why he's flip-flopped on this. Maybe they didn't have data on this and they thought everyone would be in support of getting rid of the terror lords. Clearly the left thinking it can all be just diplomacy working with these terror lords. We see Heather McPherson putting this out. Today's attack on Iran by United States and Israel is a serious violation of international law. Do you think Iran was obeying international law when they wiped out 35,000 of their own citizens that were protesting against the government? Come on, it's time to wake up. The repressive Iranian regime is a dictatorship that ends their own citizens. She's saying it herself. But illegal and unjustified war driven by Trump and Netanyahu will bring more civilians to perish. No, they will stop the Iranian government from ending more of their own citizens, and people are going to perish. Overall, there will be a lower count, and the people of Iran will get their country back. This is such a bad take, so I'm not surprised seeing this 69% here. I mean, they're pushing this stuff on the CBC with none other than Lloyd Axworthy.
The United States and Israel committed an act of aggression against the UN Charter, that the evidence supporting it was not there. There was no imminent threat. There was, as Mr. Trump said, he had some intuition there might be. And thirdly, I think it is setting a bad precedent.
What is this guy talking about? There's videos all over social media of people in Iran, protesters, protesting the government getting ended all over the streets. There's no evidence of them doing anything wrong. This guy's insane.
One thing that I think Canadian diplomacy over the years has always understood, that our best security is at putting sort of guardrails, sort of ways of stopping big powers from throwing their weight around. And no one is bigger threat right now throwing his weight around than Donald Trump in the United States. United States and Israel.
Oh, please. Another Order of Canada bonehead here. Lloyd Axworthy, Laurentian elite, so hoity-toity, lives in his own fantasy land. This guy should go live in Iran and see what it's really like under that repressive regime. Moving ahead here, Mark Carney goes into full-blown panic mode when he gets asked hard questions here, finally, from these reporters. As Juno News clipping this one, PM Carney belittles a reporter for asking if he believes India is still interfering in Canada. I don't know how liberals can support this guy. The way he treats reporters, especially female reporters, is quite deplorable.
You have outlined what steps Canada is doing to protect citizens from foreign interference and in transnational repression, but a lot of confusion exists, including within your own cabinet, about what Canada thinks India is doing. So I'm hoping that you can clarify in a yes or no way. Do you agree with your own government official, yes or no, who suggested India is no longer actively interfering in Canada's democratic process and that Indian agents are no longer involved in murders and extortions within Canada? Yes or no?
Well, I'm not sure that's an exact quote.
That is what he suggested.
That's not a quote.
I can read the quote.
I think, we can debate whether you had a discussion that was not for quotation, but if you want to read a quote from something that's not for quotation. These are the words I would use.
This guy's unbelievable. He doesn't want to answer this question, so belittling the reporter is the easiest next best option. You notice too, he laughs at her. He does a little smirk as she's asking the question. Right here, see this little cheeky little Grinch smile he gets?
A yes or no way. Do you agree?
Look, he's laughing because he's like, yeah, you're not getting a yes or a no out of me. I'm Mr. Banker. I call the shots around here, you little peon. That's what he's thinking.
Words I would use, and it's important. I would not use those words. Okay, first point. Secondly, our approach, as I said in response to the first question, is one of, the second question, is one of vigilance and engagement. And we have made progress, but regardless of the progress that has been made, it is our responsibility to have both aspects. First and foremost, to be vigilant. Okay, vigilant in terms of tightening the laws, vigilant ensuring that we have the right resources at the security level, at the police level, in terms of the coordination, vigilant in ensuring that those resources are active, vigilant in ensuring that we are using all sources of intelligence to direct resources to protect Canadians. And then alongside that, to be engaged with countries so that if and when there are issues or even a sense of issues that we are raising them, engagement at the level of national security, engagement at the level of defense, engagement at the level of police, engagement at the political
This is just all word salad, just deflecting the question. He doesn't want to answer it.
level. All of those. And if you look at the record, if I may just finish on this, of this government in less than a year, 6 major crime bills, many of which address specifically these issues.
Crime bills that haven't gone through the House of Commons. This guy is a clown.
Thousands of new resources being put in the RCMP and border security. Huge technical resources also being put in place. That's an odd way to put it, but physical resources in terms of surveillance. And re-engagement, including at the national security level and the political level, so that we can address these issues actually, in other words, today and prospectively, so that prevention is there as well as redress. Thank you.
Next question.
Yeah, this guy's slithering his way out of this, but it just gets worse.
What was President Trump's reaction to you
try to be
supporting the airstrikes on Iran?
I haven't spoken to the president.
What does that say about your relationship?
The president's been, I don't think it says anything, to be honest.
We received nothing from the American?
Look, we take a position. Let me just make a clear point.
Uh-oh, Carney's about to snap here. He doesn't like that he's getting called out that his negotiation skills suck. Let's just call it as it is. This guy said he was Mr. Master Negotiator that could handle Donald Trump.
We took a position, not asking for something. We took a position because we view the nuclear threat and the export of terrorism of Iran over decades as one of the gravest threats to international peace and security. And the Americans and the Israelis haven't taken this action in that limited sense. We supported that aspect. That is not a blank check. That is not us participating. That is not us asking for something in exchange for that. None of that's true. That is just a straight up position.
We should be supporting the Americans, the Israelis, the Germans, all of them out there. We don't need to be sending, planes we don't have over there, but there's different ways we could be supporting the efforts right now to clear out the terror lords in Iran. They don't want to do that because the Liberals have been housing the terror lord senior officials in Canada for years now. It's become a safe haven for these guys to live in. So look at this. There's a follow-up here. He doesn't know what to say to this.
Abigail Beeman, CTV News. I still have not heard a clear answer as to whether you believe India is still actively involved in foreign interference. And if you would not use those words of the government official, will there be consequences for that official?
There will not be consequences for those officials. Look, there are...
Today, Junior, spit it out.
In terms of vigilance and monitoring, which we do actively and on which I receive regular briefings, there are aspects of those briefings that I can share in public, and I'm not going to betray them.
Yes, you can. You're the Prime Minister. Of course you can share that. You get to choose what information gets put out and what doesn't get put out. You can't just say, I can't talk about this. This guy thinks we're dumb. We know what's going on here, Carney. Spit it out.
We'll tell you that there is progress on these issues, and that progress is a product, in my judgment, it's a product of the resources we're putting in. It's a product of the...
This is just a word salad. This guy went to India, broke conflict of interest law multiple times, meeting with a couple different people that we know of, could be a lot more. Now he's in Australia. Is he breaking the laws over and over and over again? He doesn't want to answer to these questions of transnational repression regarding India coming in and taking out Hardeep Singh Najjar. His own official says there's no problem with India. CISA says there is a problem with India. This is a complete clown show. It's just a bunch of charlatans and liars running this government. Moving ahead here, we got some updates from Iran and America. Donald Trump Trump posting this, effective immediately. I've ordered the United States Financed Corporation to provide a very reasonable price political risk insurance that guarantees all financial security to all maritime trade. So basically, he's kind of ensuring here all the financial woes that's coming from the Strait of Hormuz being blocked by Iran, or they're threatening to blow up on any of the ships that go through there. Yeah, this is a good move. This looks really good to the world here. And he says no matter what, United States will ensure free flow of energy to the world, because basically 20% of all trade goes through there. We've got this video here coming from, I believe, Tel Aviv. According to AI, it thinks this video is real, even though the description is not correct here. These are Chinese workers apparently working on a building in Tel Aviv, Israel, when it gets hit. And there's other videos showing multiple buildings in Israel getting hit. There's another video out of Bahrain flying out of the city. Passenger plane full of people while missiles were flying in and hitting buildings. There's some wild stuff out there. We've got this. U.S. confirms B-2 bombers are striking Iran now. There's multiple posts about this. We've got Tehran is currently under massive strikes. CBS also reported that America B-2 bombers are targeting IRGC command and control nodes, as well as weapons depots and assembly facility tied to the missile program across Iran. Yeah. There's some scary stuff here. It just keeps going and going. Got this video here. The U.S. says it's destroyed 17 Iranian naval ships, including one of its submarines. We are sinking the entire Iranian Navy.
We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy. Thus far, we've destroyed 17 Iranian ships, including the most operational Iranian submarine that now has a hole in its side.
Yeah, I think that submarine's done.